Hey, hey, hey! Welcome to More Geek Than Gay! This is Edward. Now, there's going to be a surprising lack of, or maybe not surprising, lack of Joseph and Karen this episode again. We're going to fix that. We're going to fix that. Okay? And by the way, you will hear me reference Compete Magazine. This is it! Compete Magazine! Look!
There's no need to fear. Underdog is here.
Tiny whiny stuff.
Well, howdy, this is Edward. Welcome to More Geek Than Gay. Woo! Okay, I'm going to stop saying that Karen and Joseph will be here next week because, I don't know. I keep on making these things, like, on the spur of the moment to try to come back to some sort of schedule that I'm not matching. I don't know why. I'm doing a schedule as well as Scott on the Satosphere does a schedule. So, or, yeah, many others. So, hey, it is what it is at this moment. I do plan on getting Joseph and Karen back. Okay? We will hold to that statement at this moment. That's the bird again. Hi, Rodney. Hi, Rod. Why are you in your cage? Your door's open. You've been out wandering around. Okay, so, a week's gone by. And, like, not super lot of news, still work, still, you know, Joseph's still working at the magazine, still not feeling well, but we're working on getting that better. Karen's still working hard and things. She, last night was at Dunkin' Donuts, and there was, at 4 o'clock in the morning, and there was 4 cops there. So, yeah, she pointed out that she hates it when stereotypes are just reinforced. That's pretty much everything. We're still working on finishing up getting all the stuff from the house over to storage. So, you know, that's kind of the quick 2-bit update of my life for the last week, and our lives for the last week. Kitten's eye's looking better. She had an eye infection, and it's now starting to look better because I finally... Did you know that you cannot find boric acid anywhere anymore? Those eye drops that you got as a baby... I can't find them anywhere. But I was able to find sodium chloride ophthalmic solution. I don't know what this is. But it is helping with her eye. So her eye looks much better. But she hates the drops. She hates them, hates them, hates them. My friend Kim, which I am clapping to her name so you guys can't hear what I'm saying. My friend Kim... There we go. This last weekend went to a fitness exhibition or rally or I don't know, like it was at the convention center. There was a whole bunch of muscle people there to do a Zumba demonstration with her instructor. I can't remember the twink's name, but he needs some body fat. He needs some body fat. He's 25 years old and great little body on him. But if you were to be told that he's 25, you'd be going, oh, okay. If you were to be told that he's 35, you'd be like, oh, he looks good for 35. And when you're 25, you should never be at a position where people like go, oh, he looks good for 35. It should always be, if I were to tell you he was 35, you'd be like going, there's no way he's 35. Are you sure? That's what he should look like at 25. But no. I even pointed this out to a couple friends, and they all went, yeah, I'd say he looks good for 35. That means you don't have enough body fat. Your face is too gaunt. Okay? So eat some Twinkies. Twinkie. Okay. But, as support, I went with her to this sports or fitness exhibition, or whatever they want to call it. And, well, that was interesting. Okay, the last time I was in the convention center, it was with my people at Comic-Con, which I have the t-shirt on right now. And I understand my people. I understand how to work around booths and stuff. These people, there's a lot of, I don't know. First of all, it was so tiny. Okay, the whole thing took place in the exhibition room, or in the dealer's room, however you want to call it, and it didn't even really fill that up well. Okay, I was just amazed. It seems like a waste of a convention center to do something so tiny there because it's a nice sized convention center. But a lot of people with more muscles than body dimension balance, and a lot of people there who don't understand that when you're white you shouldn't be orange or darker than Sammy Davis Jr. That's just not right. I was very relieved to see that the guy at the tanning salon booth thing, he actually had a nice normal looking skin tone. And I kept on wondering if all the people who gravitated towards his booth looked at him and realized, hey, I'm a freak. I wonder how I can make my skin look like his. Because I just was amazed at how many people had just the most freakish, unnatural tone for skin you've ever seen. It was weird wrong. I do have a little clip from it of me not fitting in well, and I apologize, the sound didn't come out as well. Oddly enough, it was noisier there than it was at Comic-Con. Yeah, I don't get it, but it was just non-stop surrounding noise.
I'm at a fitness expo. Look behind me. There's things. I'll even show you. You can't see it. I'll move over here so you can see it. Oh, you maybe can't see that sign, but it's expounding the joys of pure liquid egg whites as compared to all those, I don't know, solid egg white pills that you have to take that are, loaded with, egg yolks on the side. Woo! I don't know. My people should never be at one of these things.
And we're back, although I didn't see the little light come on, so am I back? I am back! Yay, look at that! And I just realized that I did that whole, those of you listening to the podcast won't notice, but those of you watching the podcast will know what I'm talking about. I did that whole thing from an angle that is not very flattering for a person my age. So I raised the camera up, so gravity is at least not working against me. It may not be working for me, but it's not working against me. But it was fun going and supporting Kim. I know she thinks that I was being cranky, but I don't know what to do there. It's not my people. It was weird, though, that all these girls drove 20 miles and they were prepared to just do their Zumba, then just go straight home. I'm going, let's hit the booths, get freebies, get all the freebies you can. And they would look at a booth and go, and I'd have to go, no, try this thing, and here, have a sample of this thing. And even then, I think they only looked at 5 out of maybe 40 booths there. After they left, I hit booth. I was done in 45 minutes. Excuse me. Pardon me. In about 45 minutes at the most. Hitting every booth there was that had freebies. Because that's what you do at a convention. Yes! Then again, maybe I just have good training from, like, Comic-Con, because, you know, that's what you gotta do. You gotta hit the booth. Right next door was the Women's Expo, and I was like, they were all walking out with bags full of pink stuff, and I was like going, oh my god, I really wish I'd been over there. I mean, who knows what it was? It might have just been, like, you know, whatever you get at a Women's Expo. I don't know, like, tampons and washcloths. I don't know. I have no idea what you get at a Women's Expo. Because, and that was a horribly sexist comment, and I apologize halfway. But it was a bundle, and I would have, like, I would have made out like a bandit at there, okay? I can use washcloths. Hey, I can't use tampons for anything. But, yeah. But anyway, that is the week that was. And so, I guess onward to the stuff. Yeah, stuff. Oh, I have a bird helping me. Stuff.
Movies.
Okay, now is it back? It's back. Okay. So, first, movies. Have not gone and seen a movie. Archie went and saw Gravity, said it was good. But a lot of people I've talked to said that Gravity is good, but you gotta like Sandra Bullock because that's basically what it is. And you gotta, for all of its, like, ooh, science-y look, they're real astronauts-ish. The more realistic it is, the more you have to start turn off your brain at certain points, because even people I know who don't know science at all have been commenting, yeah, and her hair just stayed all nice and flat during the whole time, in zero gravity. So, I don't know. Not that I have anything against Sandra Bullock, but it's starting to look less and less interesting as time goes on. They said it does look magnificent in 3D. And that said, though, I would like to go on to the joys of Halloween. Because Halloween's like right around the corner. So everyone should be Halloweening. And as such, I watched a couple movies based on recommendations from Patrick of Scream Queens with a Z. You can check him out at screamqueens.com, or you can find his podcast on iTunes. And great guy, very entertaining, and he recommended a couple movies. First of all, a couple weeks ago, he had mentioned that he enjoyed, I think he said he enjoyed it, I'm virtually positive he said he enjoyed it, the movie Would You Rather. Now, Would You Rather, basically, a dinner party thrown by some rich guy, and it basically is a whole bunch of people having to choose, would you rather do this or do this? And along those lines, I swear I've seen this movie before, along those lines. That said, it was enjoyable. It has Jeffrey Combs in it. I'm a huge Jeffrey Combs fan. We're talking the guy who did Reanimator. He's done Edgar Allan Poe, I believe, on Broadway or on stage. I don't know if he hit Broadway, but he's done stage work as Edgar Allan Poe. He was on Star Trek Enterprise as an Andorian. He's done a whole bunch of stuff. The moment you see him, if you don't know the name Jeffrey Combs, you'll recognize him right away. Oh, he was also the voice of The Question on Justice League Unlimited. So, even a bad movie with Jeffrey Combs in it still is a movie with Jeffrey Combs in it, so it's very watchable. I think they dropped a plot line that develops towards the end. Something happens significant with the character playing his son, and it's like, oh, this is gonna be something that's gonna be a twist, or someone's gonna have to act upon it, or something, and nothing happens. The son doesn't even get mentioned for the rest of the movie. So, I don't know what happened there. But other than that, if you got a couple bucks and you're in the mood for something that's a little bit gruesome, Not as gory as it could be. Okay, you will probably think it's very gory, but actually if you watch it carefully, you'll see that there's a lot of scenes that could be gory that they're not showing you what's going on. Either because they don't need to, your mind will supply the gore, or because they don't have a budget. Either way. Oh, it also has Brittany Snow in it, who I know that name and I just can't think of what she's done. But, oh, I guess she was in Pitch Perfect. That means nothing to me. It seems like I know her from something else. Where was I at? Oh, but it's definitely suspenseful. It builds to something. The ending's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I knew that was coming. But at the same time, wow, shit. And then the ultimate ending is a little bit of a surprise. So the ending that you gotta go, okay, once you introduce this, I knew this was happening, that actually ends up being a denouement. And you get to the actual ending. Yeah? Or actually, no, I take that back. That's the ending, and you get to the denouement, and the denouement is surprising. And I'm having a morning where my mouth doesn't want to form words correctly. So I apologize for that. I am now trying to enunciate or talk like Carol Channing. Anyway, another movie that he gave us as homework to watch, actually, is a movie called Home Movie. Simple movie, found footage. It's in the found footage genre, which is a very played out genre now. Features Adrian Pasdar. He was in the TV show Heroes. There's really only a cast of like maybe 6 people in the whole movie. There's a guy who's a priest or preacher or something like that. His wife, a psychologist. Their 2 children, who I guess are twins. And then a couple other incidental characters that pop up. Very fun movie. I'm glad Patrick recommended it. I personally found it incredibly predictable. Everything that happened was not a surprise because it's right there. It's kind of like how oh, I cannot think of his name. Siegel. Oh crap. That playwright. But he said if you show a gun in Act 1, the trigger better be pulled by Act 3. That's how a lot of things are in this movie. But at the same time, knowing that it's going to happen, it builds up a different type of feeling. You're not surprised as much as you have this impending feeling of dread throughout the whole movie. It is interesting to kind of figure out what's going on with the found footage, which you do find out towards the end. But don't look for surprises in this. Look more for this sense of impending doom where you're like going, oh my god, this is really going to happen. You're just watching it all unfold unblinkingly right in front of your eyes. So, that is another good Halloween movie. Thank you, Patrick. Again, ScreamQueens.com. Queens with a Z. I'm going to toss in my little recommendation. And I bring to you the movie Xtro. Ta-da! Xtro. X-T-R-O. And in case you're wondering, I'm checking to make sure I'm recording. I am! Yay! Xtro, it's easy to find this movie. Well, it's cheap to find this movie. I believe this cost me $5. It maybe will cost you $10 somewhere. In a 3-pack with Skeeter, which involves gigantic mosquitoes, and Xtro 2, which I've never seen. But it has the movie Xtro, and I believe that movie Xtro itself is worth the $5 to $10 that you may have to pay for this. And the other 2 you can consider just a bonus. Skeeter is cheesy fun. It's not good, but it's cheesy fun. Xtro is one of those forgotten movies, and I don't know why it's forgotten. It is, while it's not great, it is at the same time far from bad. It has very interesting designs to it. I remember reading an article about how they designed the alien for Extro so that he looked different than other people in costume aliens. And it basically involves, well, let me see what the, let's see. Family man Sam Phillips mysteriously disappears in Extro, only to re-emerge 3 years later as a monstrous alien intent on claiming his human son. That is a good cut to the point version of what the movie is. There is some great nightmare fuel in this movie. So if you're looking for something that'll creep you out, pretty much everything involving the neighbor, the poor unfortunate neighbor woman, is the creepiest crap you'll ever see. And there's a nightmare toy clown situation. So there's something for you to like hate Karen. Yay, it's special. Watch this for Halloween. This is, I don't know why this movie's so forgotten. I would put it easily on par quality-wise with many other better remembered movies. It's definitely better than Ghoulies, which everyone seems to remember Ghoulies, and I don't know why, because Ghoulies is not that good. It's definitely better than, those little fuzzy things. I can't remember what they were called. But they were fuzzy and all teeth. It's definitely better than those things. I actually think it's on par with The Howling, which in itself is not a fantastic movie, but it's a good movie. So I give this, like, if you were to say on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it a good solid 7. I'd give it a good solid 7. I put it in the better than average category. And like I said, there is fantastic nightmare fuel. That once you see everything going over to the neighbor's house, just be prepared. Just be prepared. Things are gonna go completely where the hell, who came up with, why am I, oh my god, be prepared. Now, I do want to touch upon one more thing, and we're segueing beautifully. Movies. We did Halloween movies, 2 recommended by Patrick for Screen Queens with a Z. And then my recommendation, which is a sci-fi horror movie. And now we're just going to segue into sci-fi movie talk. The upcoming Ender's Game, which is based on a book by Orson Scott Card. Very controversial movie at this moment. Without even it being about the content. We're talking about it being Orson Scott Card that makes it controversial. Far be it from me to really say, hey, don't go see this movie because the man has opposing views to mine. I've read or watched or enjoyed many things that are done by people that as a person, I find them reprehensible. But as an artist, I enjoy their work. Okay? Courtney Love of Hole. I personally still think everything she's done is by far better than anything that was ever done by Nirvana. Okay? Ever. The more talented half of that partnership survived. She's still a reprehensible human being. Okay, as a human being. As an artist, I love her stuff. So, that said, I have always been one to separate the artist from the art. As much as I can. There are times when you just can't. I'm fearing that maybe this movie is one of those times when you can't. This is not a case of Orson Scott Card just being against gay marriage or thinking that homosexuality is a sin. If that's all it were, which is what I honestly thought it was, for a long time. Whatever. No one has to agree with everybody. Then I knew about his helping out organizations to help ban same-sex marriage, or at least keep the laws from changing to allow them. Okay, that's a little bit more objectionable, harder for me to deal with, but I still wouldn't have had a problem. Now, though, thanks to a comment made by comic book writer and artist Phil Jimenez, I have come to... He said something about his political views and stuff like that that made me want to do a little bit more research. He wasn't just supporting the group that was trying to suppress gay marriage. He was actually an active board member. I believe he was like the councilman or something like that, or I forget what the word is, but he was actually like a big player in that. He has written articles about this, op-ed pieces. He has stated that Supreme Court's decision to interpret the Constitution as it being unconstitutional to ban same-sex marriages is courts, not Supreme Courts, but any judge ruling in this way is going against everything that is in the Constitution and is the founding of this country, and that essentially allowing gay marriage, judges allowing gay marriage makes the country that they represent his enemy, and he would be more than willing to help bring that down. That's paraphrasing. It's biased paraphrasing. I'm sure he would have great difficulty with the fact that I worded it as I did. Hunt down his words. Tell me how you feel about it. He's also clearly against abortion, and he equated allowing gay marriage with judges allowing, they allowed abortion here and they allowed abortion here, and then suddenly they're allowing abortions of perfectly viable children, perfectly viable babies, all willy-nilly. And it's like, oh wow, what? His viewpoints I find dangerous and reprehensible. The movie studio that is making the movie, I think it's Lionsgate, has gone on record as stating how they are very supportive of gay marriage and gay rights and partnership benefits and stuff like this. Well, then they should have looked into his agenda before they signed him on. Harrison Ford has been backpedaling and apologizing for this in weird non-apologetic ways for like weeks now, to the point where I'm kind of starting to lose respect for him on this project. DC Comics, they were going to have Orson Scott Card writing some Superman stories, but they got a whole bunch of objections from it, including some comic book stores that stated that they would boycott those issues if anything that Orson Scott Card wrote. The artist backed out of it due to the whole controversy, and DC Comics has stated that they have put his stories on indefinite hold. I guess the long and the short of this is, make your decision on whether or not you want to go see Ender's Game. I wasn't going to go see it anyway. There's nothing about it that looked interesting to me. Okay, it never sounded interesting as a science fiction story. It doesn't look interesting as a sci-fi movie. It just doesn't. But make your decision, but realize what you're doing when you do it. Okay? If you are fine with supporting the decisions to encourage this man's, well, to basically encourage this man to have money to continue doing what he's doing, then fine. But don't make excuses. Don't be Harrison Ford. Don't be like, oh, I'm supporting the movie studio that's been such... No, no, no. Be honest and realize you're supporting the decision to expand Orson Scott Card's bank account and his influence in American culture. Okay? You're supporting that. And I've always been one who will sign any petition to get anyone in, because it's like, you know what? I don't care. You could be like wanting a Nazi candidate to run for councilman. I will sign that petition for him to do it, because then it puts it up to democratic vote. They have a right to their free speech. They have a right to believe what they want to believe, and it is my right to then say, oh, now that you're in a position to try to reach power, no. I signed your petition. I'm not going to vote for you. If you feel that you can do that with him, say, no, 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 I support him. I'm fine with giving this movie money that will support his ability to continue espousing his viewpoints and monetarily fund groups that will act upon his viewpoints. Because I believe that either his viewpoints are correct, which, why are you watching this? Or you believe that everybody has a right to their viewpoint, and it ultimately comes down to the population to decide what to do with it. That's fine. I disagree with it, and I will not support it, but I'm fine with that being your decision. But be honest with yourself. Be honest with everyone else. That's what you're doing. Don't make excuses for like, oh no, I loved this novel as a child. Then read the novel again. Okay, go get it from a used bookstore where not a penny goes to his pocket. There's other ways to enjoy this without supporting him. That's my 2 cents worth on the whole Ender's Game Orson Scott Card thing. Okay? And that said, let's move on. Yay, moving on.
Comic books. Yeah.
Okay, comic books. Yay, comic books. What would life be like without comic books? It would be comic bookless. That's what it would be like. And I know I've been making a big deal about talking about old comic books that I've been encountering, but this time I am going to talk about new things that came out. I'm going to start with the lesser in a certain way. I'm going to start with the Marvel one. Marvel has their Infinity storyline going on, which I'm hoping is going to like just restructure their whole timeline. But the Infinity storyline already at issue 3 became boring, and I just gave up on it. So we'll find out what the fallout is, and hopefully the fallout will be good, even if the story is boring. But Daredevil, that horrible movie with Ben Affleck, you remember that? Well, it's based on a comic book by Marvel Comics that they're still publishing. Daredevil, the Man Without Fear. And it seems like possibly in honor of Halloween, issue number 32 features Daredevil somehow teaming up with various monsters of the Marvel Universe, which Marvel used to have a whole bunch of monsters commonly in their universe. They had the Frankenstein monster, as from the cover you got a werewolf, you got a mummy. The mummy had stories. The werewolf had Werewolf by Night. That was a comic book. Frankenstein monster, he had a comic book. That's Satana, the daughter of the devil. She made a couple appearances, but she's the sister of Damon Hellstrom. who's the son of the devil, and son of Satan, had his own comic book for a while. And then Simon Garth, the zombie, he had his own magazine for a while, because at the time that he was being published, they couldn't use the word zombie in comic books because of the Comics Code Authority. So he had his own black and white magazine. Yes. And that's kind of where this all leads. I have to reread it because I just kind of skimmed through it, and I don't know how I think maybe the issue before this explains why he would want to be following up on this. It somehow starts off with the villain, the Jester, and it involves the cult-like group, the Sons of the Serpent. I don't know what's going on. Suddenly he's in the south, and there's 5 monsters being chased by villagers with pitchforks, and he's defending them. That's actually kind of the story. I don't know why of the story, and I think the why of that story occurs in the issue previous. But it looks fun, and it looks like stupid, mindless comic book fun. And I'm not saying that comic books have to be mindless, but I'm saying every once in a while it's fun it's nice to have just something that's it's just comic books. I'm all in favor of this one. Just as long as they don't take themselves too seriously. Just like I liked it when they turned Punisher into an undead Franken-Punisher. I love that storyline. So many people hated it because the Punisher is supposed to be realistic, dark, gritty, shoot 'em. And I'm like, no, he's much more fun when he was undead, pieced together pieces, and brought back to life as Franken-Punisher. Or Punisher-Stein, or I don't know. That was a much more enjoyable storyline because then it was just comic books again. Nothing against seriousness, but sometimes I like a good it's just comic book story. On the flip side of that, we got DC Comics. DC is doing their Forever Evil storyline, which is basically, this storyline is the excuse in continuity for the New 52. Okay, everything was restarted and recombined and everything to prepare them for the Trinity War, and Forever Evil is the result of that Trinity War. So this is really it. And it involves the evil counterparts of the Justice League coming over from Earth 3. That's what the Trinity actually stood for. It wasn't Trinity, it was 3. It was Earth 3, which is a twisted mirror verse of the main universe. Kind of like Star Trek, except for nobody has a beard. It led to their Villains Month, which was basically hey, here's a whole bunch of origin issues that don't matter at all story-wise. Villains Month was a big dud as far as I'm concerned. There was maybe 1 or 2 interesting stories, but they really did nothing to progress what's really going on. And then they did Justice League America last week that kind of hinted that Batman's a survivor and he thinks that the rest of the Justice League are dead. This one actually gives you a bit more information about the crime syndicate, that's the evil counterparts, where they came from, and a couple hints that there's something more than them just coming over here and taking over. There's something that they think that Earth is going to be threatened by, and they needed to find a new Earth because their Earth was taken over and killed by this thing. They needed to find a new Earth and then prepare it to be strong enough to beat this thing. Because to them, compassion is weakness. Strength is survival of the fittest is all that matters. And so they're more than willing to, maim and kill to make sure that everything is strong. That only the strong survive. Because that's what it's going to take. Also, And that's kind of interesting, and there seems to be a hint that there's something more going on with the Batman counterpart, Owlman. So that's also a bit of an interesting thing. There's a hint that there's going to be something more going on there. And there was one page that indicates that they're introducing the Doom Patrol into DC Comics New 52, finally. They'll probably be making their appearance during this storyline, and who knows if they're... I wouldn't be surprised if they launch into their own comic book from this. From the quick little image, it looks like it's the second incarnation of the Doom Patrol, which... Okay, the Doom Patrol is a classic comic book storyline, a team that went ahead and did something that no one had ever done before in comic books, and they were quite revolutionary, and that is, had the team sacrifice themselves to save people. And in the very last issue of Doom Patrol, they all died. Well, they found out that one of the members kind of survived. He was kind of rebuilt, and a second team of Doom Patrol members was built up because one of the members thought that another person of the Doom Patrol, he couldn't have died, and she was determined to go find him. That was her whole reason for bringing together a whole new Doom Patrol. That looks like what's going to be this new Doom Patrol. So I'm very curious about that. I will be right back. And I'm back. Sorry about that. Wait, Joseph just came home and I wanted to make sure he was okay. But my big problem with this Forever Evil project is that there's a Forever Evil limited series also. Okay, so it's tying in and out of the titles of the Justice League titles. And then it has its own limited series and a couple other limited series that tie in with it. The other series, Superman's, Aquaman, Flash, all these series that should be being affected because they took a time out even for the Villains Month, they're now back to their regular storyline, which makes you go, well, when did all this happen in their timeline? Nothing's happening in their comic books. So I have an issue with that, and this is going to be going on for over half a year, okay? Because it started 1 month, well, maybe not over half a year, maybe just half a year. It's a 6-month storyline, though. There better be one hell of a payoff at the end to eat up 6 months on this whole storyline that seems like it's just a good versus evil thing. Seems like that you build up to something that you're not even willing to commit your whole universe to. Hi, Rodney. Hi. Offering your opinion? Oh, you're offering your opinion. Okay, I will offer my opinion. Oh, there you go. So, that's my 2 cents on the whole Justice or DC Comics thing at this moment.
Boy, howdy. Games.
Okay. Chekhov. Anton Chekhov. That's the name I could not think of before. The gun in the first act needs to be used by the third act. Anton Chekhov. Anyway. Hi, Rod. Really? Really? You were doing so well up until that last break. And now this is what you're going to do? And I don't have the water to squirt you with either. Squirt, 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 squirt. Anyway, in the theme of a gun in the first act must be used by the third act, or in the third act. Got a game for Halloween-ish. Kill Dr. Lucky. This is the game that takes place right before the game Clue. You are going around the house trying to kill the man so that and make sure that no one else can see you, so that you get away scot-free. Because, well, Dr. Lucky is the nicest, kindest man known, and a philanthropist, and he gives to orphans and kittens. you still hate him, and it is your desire to get rid of him. Very simple rules. It's won a game design award. It was originally put out by a company called Cheap Ass Games. I believe you can still get it through them. Although Cheap Ass Games, their company is kind of, the last time I went to their website, it was kind of weird. And Cheap Ass Games is great because their concept is that you already have dice, you have cards, you have little things you can use as markers. They're going to provide you with everything else that you don't have already. So, and that makes the game really cheap. They usually come in a little envelope, and it'll have the game rules. If there's a board you need, it'll come with the board. If it has special cards, it'll come with the special cards. It'll only cost you between like $3 to $8 to get one of their games. And then you just put in all the rest of the pieces. A lot of people like having pretty bits. That's how come they did eventually come out with through the game company Paizo. I don't know, Paizo. They put out a boxed edition of it, and it has a very nice board and pieces and all the little bits and everything. And it also includes the variation of "and his little dog too," so you can kill his little dog too. The only problem, and it's really a fun game, okay, the only problem with the game is that it sometimes drags at the beginning as you're trying to kill Dr. Lucky, and everybody thwarts your plans very easily. There are rules online for those who find that happens, that kind of bores them a little bit. There are rules online that you can use that'll speed up that part of the game. A lot of people, that's why the "and his little dog 2" came in, because that adds another little level so you can kind of do something else during that part. This is a game that really comes to life in the second half. The first half is all about just making people do things, setting everything up so that you can really get down and dirty in the second half. But simple rules, fun game, and you get to kill someone. So that's lovely. That is my Halloween recommendation game of this week. Week. Yeah. Next week I'll probably bring up Zombies, which also has variations online, and has many expansions. It's almost taken on some sort of bizarre twisted life of its own. But that is our quick and easy little segment on games this week. Ha! La 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 la. And,
Gay shows.
okay, I've got nothing on gay shows this week. I don't know why. I just can't think of anything. But here is the noisy bird who decided to take a fly and now is on my arm and trying to figure out what he's going to do. Right, Rodney? Pretty bird. Pretty bird. Are you just freaking out? So, that's gay shows. Let me put the bird back. There you go, boy. And I think that will wind it up for this week. A fairly quick show this week. I would like to thank you all for your support. Stewie Monster Fan, thank you for your comments. Always look forward to hearing from you. Our goal for this, it is time for us to start winding up for next year too. Okay, this show is it's going to be working on being a year old by the end of this year. How convenient is that? At the end of the year, it's a year. And next year, I would love to see us build this show. Okay, we've worked out a lot of kinks. We're still working out a lot of kinks, as I still don't have our tech box available, and so we're having to make do with what we have. So this is probably not the best episode to say, hey, what do we need to do to get ourselves to expand, because clearly we're working at a bare minimum at this moment. But Next year, I want us to expand, and I want you guys to help us do that. Okay? So, this is the time to start thinking about more about what you would like to see, what you wouldn't like to see. Go back to the past episodes that you liked and tell us what really worked for you. What was it about that episode that really worked for you? Okay? That's really what we're looking for, is trying to see what works for you and what do you think would help us expand. Okay? What ideas do you think would help us get to an even larger audience? We've actually started rebuilding again fairly nicely from the hiatus, and we had started building up a nice little audience from there, okay, but at the same time it was a slow build, and it'd be nice to see if there's any ideas that people have for how else we can grow. That said, I do want to give a quick shout out to, you heard me give a shout out to Patrick of Scream Queens with a Z. Of course, we're saying hi to Jenny Koch because we love Jenny, and we're saying hi to Marcy Rockwell because we love Marcy, and we're saying hi to Jordan Summers because I don't think we've said hi to her before, but we're going to say it anyway. Jeff Pina, everything. Glad you're receptive to the idea of putting prices on your comic books, because that's a great idea. That's how people know what to sell them for. See how that works? The guys and gals at Samurai Comics, yay. Thank you for all the assistance with everything and just being there. Also, don't forget about Joshua Tree Feeding Program. It is a feeding program that helps people with HIV and AIDS get food. Okay, they're a volunteer organization, so any assistance that you can give will be greatly appreciated. Check them out at www.jtfp.org. See what they got going on. And also, check your local bars, bookstores, wherever you get your gay magazines at. Check to see about Compete magazine, because my other half is now working for them, and he has a couple articles in this month's issue. So hey, you want to check them out. And I believe they have a website also, I just don't know it. So if you put in Compete magazine, you'll probably find it. Without any further ado, I bid you all a fond farewell, and we'll catch you next week. Ta-da!
Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock. Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock.
It's almost time, kids. The clock is ticking. Be in front of your TV sets for the Horathon. And remember the big giveaway at 9. Don't miss it. And don't forget to wear your masks. The clock is ticking. It's almost time.
Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock. Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock.
Well, if you survived without snakes or spiders pouring out of your brains, then that means that you survived Halloween 3. Yeah, the one without Michael Myers. So, anyway, I was using denouement correctly. You just need to figure out which time. Ha ha ha. And found this out. They, for all intents and purposes, canceled Beware the Batman. Now, admittedly, I'm not the super fan of it. It's better than I thought it would be. But, you know, still no Batman the Animated Adventure, or the animated series, or Brave and the Bold. But still, one season? Is that how Cartoon Network's handling this now? They're going to start doing a double feature of Teen Titans Go to fill out their DC hour. Yeah. So there you go. Supposedly, it's just not on the schedule right now, and I guess it's on hiatus. But we all know hiatus is typically code for canceled. So, oh well. Anyway, again, thank you all for sticking around, being here, being dear, being queer. Those of you who are. Those of you who aren't queer, well, you know, give it a try. Yeah. Shake things up a little bit. Give you a plan for like the weekend. And we will catch you all, or or someone will, this will catch you all next week. And I will have touched up my hair and you won't have to see this little line here. See how quickly it grows out? See that? Yeah, if you don't like the blonde, don't worry. You're not going to have to stick with it for more than probably a month or so before it grows out and I have to, like, get rid of it. See? So, thank you, and toodaloo for now. Bye.